Right.
enough light? I have one of those flip things now.
There we go. Yeah, that's perfect.
I was in New York not long ago getting drunk with my brother. He lives up there in the city. My brother and Sarah. And I was like, I keep trying to find people to make a music video for me. There's no one responding to my requests. My brother and Sarah were like, just buy one of those flip things and make your own. And they get me drunk enough to go to a 24-hour Best Buy. I'd never been to a Best Buy in my life. And bought a flip camera. And then I hopped freight trains out the next morning and filmed myself riding freight trains home from.
Oh yeah.
And then we got snow in Virginia for the first time in a long time, and I lost a day of work, so I just went and bought a 6-pack of beer and learned how to make a music video. It's fun. This shit's cool, man.
Yeah, I picked up.
Technology.
I edited a film not too long ago, and about my buddies making a magazine, and it was fun. Like I spent like 6 hours editing. That was fine. Like I didn't even notice it.
I think at some point it might take away from the real art.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Led Zeppelin makes a killer record, or Pink Floyd does, and then, however many years later, any person can sit in their kitchen with a GarageBand program and record a record, and suddenly it's like everyone's making records, and then you don't know which one's good anymore. I think with any art, like everybody has these flip cameras and everything else. Is like the real folks who are doing like the real projects might be getting lost in the shuffle, because there's idiots like me who ride a freight train with a flip camera, edit it together in a day, and a 6-pack later and put it on YouTube, and suddenly their shit isn't as valid. But who knows?
Yeah.
I guess there's some autonomy in technology too.
I know a guy that does photography, and he only deals with film. Only
that's badass. Man.
Yeah, edits like with the film in front of him, cuts it, everything.
I was like, man, technology, dude. Computers. I was thinking back the other day about doing Avail records, where it's like, nowadays these computer programs, you like just manipulate the snare beats, or sometimes they're not even like real drums and all this stuff. And I was thinking back to Avail records, where like one take songs would just be popping like perfect, but like say one snare beat would be slightly off, and watching them take the tape and cutting it and moving the actual piece of tape on a tape reel. It's just thinking back on that, how strange that is to me. But at the time, they're like on the reels, hearing the sound, they're like, okay, that's the snare, and take a razor blade, cut it, take it out, put it. Okay, it's on.
That's wild.
Crazy shit.
It's gotta take a lot of practice.
Yeah, well, that's how the people grow up learning it. In the same sense that people like me who are on the fence of the technology era, like I can't figure out a lot of that stuff. So those guys grew up with that. They probably can't function with computers. It's on film, by the way. Yeah. You should get Tim drinking his hippie food.
You know what sucks? The top of it just came off.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Just ignore me, man.
That's not really easy.
Find a container for this. Screw you guys. I hate everyone.
But yeah, I get a sense of that in your music too. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of bullshit in your music. It just seems like pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
About what you gotta say, what you want to say rather.
I don't know what I ever want to say. It's just what comes out.
Yeah.
Because I don't sit and go, I'm going to write a song about going from Bozeman to Wichita. Or I'm going to write a song about a failed slave insurrection in Richmond, Virginia. The songs just, bam, they're just like, okay, that's got to be written.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. Sometimes it's like inappropriate. Like I'll be doing something like camping, and then I gotta go home because suddenly a song shows up, and I have to fucking get my guitar and record it. Something before I lose it. It's almost weird, man.
Yeah.
But that's the worst when you write songs and you've got this great melody. And
and then it's gone.
And then you're like, remember that? Because, yeah.
That's the worst feeling. And that's why I say inappropriate. I would never be, I'm never bummed that for some reason I was given the ability to write some songs that some people like. That's really neat to be in that position, especially at 39 years old. You know, like if you asked me that when I was 20 and started touring, I would have been like almost 40 and still playing music, and some people like it. That's weird. You know, it's impossible. But so I'm very thankful that I still can write music, and I have a lot of fun doing it. But it is it's a weird thing. What do you think, Emma?
I got a specific song to ask you about since we're in Texas. Texas Cops. Is there anything cool behind that, or is there like a story or some sort of?
So distracting.
What do you got against Texas Cops? Because I
wrote that the day after we'd been pulled over in Humboldt. It was north of Houston, and I was touring with my little sister Caitlin. Used to tour with me. She plays violin, and my buddy Josh Small, who plays guitar. Tim Shaw, tour manager, was on the tour, and I think that was it. And we had just woken up, stayed at a hotel, had gotten north of Houston, stayed at a hotel, got up, and we're driving. We got pulled by these cops, and the story, and all we were trying to do is get to Texarkana. But the story was, you know, it's a song, it's manipulated. We weren't doing anything wrong, but I wrote the song the next day. The guys pulled us, and they forced us to prove that we were a band. They thought we were smuggling drugs. They made my sister play the fucking violin on the side of the road, and they kept calling it a fiddle. They're like, well, you go out and play the fiddle, and she just sat down and was like, nope. And they were like, play this fiddle song, and she's like, nope. And eventually Tim Shaw was like, dude, Caitlin, play the fucking song. You know, and I was like, come on, Caitlin, just play it. She played like a breakdown, like Orange Blossom or something on the side of the fucking road. It was totally disrespectful. It was totally like one of those situations where it's like, I'm her brother, and I'm watching these cops like fuck with her emotionally. For no reason. We weren't even speeding, we were 5 over, you know? No drugs, no fucking alcohol, just early in the morning. It was just really an absurd sort of like abuse of like, not power, but like the ego that goes with like, I can make anyone do anything they want because I'm a fucking cop. And I got nothing against cops.
Yeah.
Kind of. Don't have anything against cops, but you know, as people, as folks who are just working and trying to get by and provide for their families. But when it comes to that bullshit, oh man, it drives me crazy. So I wrote the song the next day.